They built next to my operation on purpose, so I blocked their expansion. I run a logistics hub at the edge of an industrial corridor that feeds straight into the port. 3 acres, paved and reinforced, zoned heavy industrial, permitted for freight handling and container staging. I built it over 8 years, upgrading lanes, adding power drops, fixing drainage that most sites ignore. It moves trucks all day without bottlenecks. It pays my bills because it works. Nothing about it is accidental. What makes the hub valuable isn't the buildings, it's the movement. My entrance lines up with one of the few legal truck approaches between the highway and Port Q. Drivers miss it and lose time. Dispatchers hate reroutes. That single access point keeps schedules tight and fuel costs down. I designed around that reality and never needed more land. Then construction started next door. They built fast and close, pressing their site right up to my boundary. No buffer, no setbacks. Their dock doors faced my lanes. Their turning paths cut across my pavement like it was already shared. Before anyone asked, their trucks were rolling through my entrance like it belonged to them. Site foreman told me it was just during construction. He said logistics zones always work things out. I told him, this works because I planned it. You didn't. They kept moving anyway. Trailers stacked along my fence. Drivers idled in my lanes. A logistics coordinator waved trucks through my gate like she'd been there for years. Nobody asked. They assumed. That was the point. They built next to my operation on purpose because their site couldn't function alone. Their permits allowed storage, not stacking. Their lot depth failed minimum circulation standards. Their timeline didn't allow redesign. Using my access solved all of it quietly. Instead of offers, they applied pressure through routine, daily use, normalization. We'll clean it up later. This is temporary. Everyone shares access here. They acted like momentum would turn permission into fact. I stopped correcting them verbally and started documenting. I hired a surveyor who staked the line and flagged every encroachment. I pulled traffic flow approvals and found their expansion plans didn't meet safety code without my ingress. I logged truck counts and timestamps showing they depended on my lanes to stay operational. Then I called the city. Inspectors showed up during peak hours. Trucks backed up. A compliance officer walked the boundary and asked why unapproved access was active. Stop work notices went up on their expansion pads. They were told to reroute immediately. They didn't. For 2 more days, trucks kept cutting through. Barriers were moved. Warning tape disappeared. The assumption was that enforcement would get tired. That's what changed everything. In the hearing, their attorney argued efficiency, said industrial zones rely on cooperation, claimed rerouting trucks would disrupt regional delivery schedules, asked for interim access while permits were adjusted. My side laid out the record. Repeated violations, ignored notices, design plans showing intentional reliance on my infrastructure, photos of barriers moved after inspection. The judge didn't entertain hypotheticals. He focused on behavior. Why did operations continue after the stop work notice? He asked. There wasn't a clean answer. They tried to soften it. Said crews misunderstood. Said logistics timelines were tight. Pushed again for temporary relief. That push hardened the ruling. No shared access, no temporary routing, no expansion activity until their site functioned independently and passed inspection without using my operation in any way. Daily fines for violations. Authority granted to enforce immediately. The effect was instant. Trucks were turned away. Freight backed up off-site. Contracts missed delivery windows. Dispatchers rerouted miles out of the way. Their half-built expansion sat idle, boxed in by its own bad assumptions. My hub never slowed. Gates stayed controlled. Lanes stayed clear. Schedules stayed intact. If someone built their plan on top of your business, would you adjust? Or would you shut it down until they learned the boundary? Like, share, and subscribe for more stories.